Police retraced the last known steps of the missing 10-year-olds. Girls dressed in identical clothes follow the route Jessica and Holly took 6 days ago. 2 Afghan children are locked in a detention centre after losing a High Court battle. And more gold for Britain as Colin Jackson gets his 4th European Championship medal. Good evening. Police in Cambridgeshire have staged a reconstruction of the last known movements of Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. The 10-year-old girls went missing 6 days ago in their hometown of Soham. Detectives now say there is no evidence that Holly and Jessica went to meet someone they contacted in an internet chat room. Clarence Mitchell reports from Soham.
Taking their walk towards the unknown, these are the last identified steps of Holly and Jessica. Recreated by 2 young girls from a drama company in Cambridge, they were wearing identical clothing and jewellery to the missing 10-year-olds. Their Manchester United shirts the same, along with their sports trousers. Their hair, too, styled as closely to Holly and Jessica's as possible. The aim to jog people's memories of last Sunday. The pair had left Holly's home near the centre of Soham around 5:40 p.m. after spending some 20 minutes on a computer. Next, after 6 o'clock, they were seen a number of times in nearby Sand Street, heading towards the local sports centre where they were caught on CCTV cameras. And at 6:45, the pair were spotted in the area around the War Memorial in the High Street. All the locations were based on confirmed sightings of Holly and Jessica. Detectives are hoping it'll lead to a breakthrough.
There may be members of the public out there who don't realise that they have seen something significant, or if they have seen something, don't think it's important to us. And I will appeal to those people after they've seen the reconstruction to please contact us.
Having examined the girls' computer, detectives now say there's no evidence they were using chat rooms or had arranged to meet anyone just before they vanished. Around the reconstruction, the intense searching continued. Soham's drains a new focus for specialist police search officers. This evening, the hunt for the girls and whoever may be holding them is about to widen in circles stretching miles across the spaces of the Cambridgeshire Fens. But the girls are still missing, despite one of the biggest manhunts Britain has seen.
Clarence Mitchell is in Soham now. Clarence, how confident are police that they will get new leads following today's reconstruction?
Sophie, the police are very hopeful indeed. They've brought in extra officers to handle the calls from the public that they're hoping will come in, but the full scale of it won't be clear probably until sometime tomorrow. For now, 2 men arrested in connection with the girls' disappearance will remain in custody overnight for further questioning tomorrow, but detectives have been at pains through the day to stress that no great significance should be attached to those arrests at this stage. Senior officers say there was one other confirmed sighting not featured in the reconstruction at around 7:20 of the girls outside an Italian restaurant near the War Memorial. But after that, the trail goes cold, and that's why they're hoping that vital clue that will lead to the breakthrough will come from the reconstruction. They believe the girls are still alive, are probably being held together, and very much against their will.
Clarence Mitchell, thank you. Meanwhile, the Home Office has confirmed that it's considering tightening the law to make it harder for paedophiles to target their victims. The proposals would make it illegal for people to make contact with children with the aim of exploiting them, whether on the internet, on the phone, or in person. The government has won a legal ruling that the children of 2 Afghan asylum seekers should be held in custody. The girl of 6 and boy of 4 were detained by immigration officials last night while visiting their parents at a holding centre near Heathrow.
Behind these walls, 2 children, a girl of 6 and a boy of 4. They were held last night when they came to visit their parents, who are being detained while they appeal against deportation. But both children are wards of court. This family friend was appointed to care for them and believes the Home Office has no right to hold them here.
That is a glorified prison in which people are treated like prisoners. You know, these people haven't done anything wrong.
This was the moment 2 weeks ago when the children's parents were themselves detained. Officers broke down the door of a mosque in the West Midlands where they'd sought refuge. Farid and Fariba Ahmadi were taken to the detention centre in Harmondsworth. Now their children are being held there too. Lawyers argued for much of the night and again this morning that as wards of court, the government couldn't hold them. But a High Court judge found that in this case, the Home Secretary's powers overruled those of the family court.
The Home Office has to be involved because they're the ones responsible for removing people who are not lawfully entitled to be here. But the way in which they do it is critical. If they do it with a lack of humanity, humanity or dignity for the individuals, then I don't think the British people will stand for it.
'This was the moment 2 weeks ago when the children's parents were themselves detained. Officers broke down the door of a mosque in the West Midlands where they'd sought refuge. Farid and Fariba Ahmadi were taken to the detention centre in Harmondsworth. Now their children are being held there too. Lawyers argued for much of the night and again this morning that as wards of court, the government couldn't hold them. But a High Court judge found that in this case, the Home Secretary's powers overruled those of the family court. The Home Office has to be involved because they're the ones responsible for removing people who are not lawfully entitled to be here. But the way in which they do it is critical. If they do it with a lack of humanity or dignity for the individuals, then I don't think the British people will stand for it. So the argument that the Home Office has exceeded its powers has been dismissed. Today's decision means the children can be legally detained and they'll be held here at Harmondsworth with their parents. But they're unlikely to stay for long. The Home Office has made it clear that it now intends to deport the family to Germany, where they first sought asylum. That may happen within days. Daniel Bircher, BBC News, Harmondsworth.
Torrential rain has brought flooding to parts of North Yorkshire for the second time in a week. More than 200 people have been forced out of their homes in the seaside town of Filey. Police are urging motorists to stay away from the surrounding coastline until the roads are clear. And California has seen some really extreme weather in the shape of a huge dust storm. These drivers narrowly missed being sucked up by the tornado, known locally as a dust devil, as it swept across the state, narrowly missing motorists and many homes. Witnesses say it rose to about 500 feet, but didn't cause any serious injuries. Thousands of rail passengers on the West Coast Main Line have endured long delays today as Railtrack begins major engineering work which will last for months. A section of track from Milton Keynes to Hemel Hempstead will be closed every weekend, while the line between London and Glasgow gets a £6 billion upgrade. Passengers have faced delays of up to an hour and a half, and the disruption on Britain's busiest line will last 18 weeks until December.
The message to passengers: no pain, no gain. No way of keeping the railway running while the work goes on.
This service terminates at this station.
So 40 minutes down the line from London, it's off the train, down the steps and out to a waiting fleet of buses. Passengers complained they hadn't been warned and tried not to get too frustrated.
Oh, it's a bit of a disruption. I'm only travelling fairly short distance and it's probably put an hour on my journey.
But from bus to train, train to bus, it seems to have gone smoothly. Railtrack decided against a total shutdown for a shorter period. That would have enraged weekday commuters. Instead, weekend travellers are bearing the brunt.
It'll affect less people at the weekends. It's just that when people are doing their weekend things, they want to get on and do it. So they feel a bit more narked. It's like, I want to do this, you know, and I want to do this, I want to get here.
The track work's got some way to go too. It's more than a year late, but it will allow trains to travel up to 125 miles an hour eventually.
We recognise that the reaction's not going to be good. Passenger journeys will be lengthened by about an hour while they travel on the coach between Milton Keynes and Hemel Hempstead. But I think in the long run they'll think it's worth doing.
The trouble is that passengers are suffering from the disruption caused by this work without knowing when they're going to get the benefits. For that reason, keeping them happy weekend after weekend after weekend will not be easy. Tom Simons, BBC News, Hemel Hempstead.
President Bush has said Iraq will remain an enemy of the United States until proven otherwise, but he played down speculation that an attack is imminent. Speaking at a golf club in Texas during a month-long holiday, the president insisted he had no timetable for deciding whether to attack Iraq. Prince Charles and Camilla Parker Bowles have spent the day at the annual Highland Games at May. It was one of the Queen Mother's favourite days out during holidays at her nearby Highland retreat. From there, our royal correspondent Nicholas Witchell reports.
The Games were the Queen Mother's idea. They were started as a bit of fun, and she attended them for 30 years.
We're paying tribute to Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, who stayed so long with us over these years.
Stepping into the Queen Mother's role as chieftain of the Games, Prince Charles, accompanied into this intimate Highland gathering by Mrs. Camilla Parker Bowles. Their appearances together are becoming more frequent, but they are still subject to elaborate choreography. They disappeared into the VIP tent, and after a certain amount of discussion, Mrs. Parker Bowles was persuaded to take her seat, not beside the Prince, but one removed. Still, it seems, they are unwilling to take that final step. They're together, but still invariably at arm's length whenever they're in public. It's obviously an arrangement which they think is appropriate for the moment, but it is hardly an arrangement which can go on indefinitely. Ask people here and they say they should marry.
Yes. Yes, certainly. Yes, why not?
She should be queen?
Well, I don't know about that.
And that, as they well know, is the possibly insuperable problem. But whatever the future, the people of May wish them both happiness. Nicholas Witchell, BBC News, at the May Games.
Now with news of more British gold at the athletics in Munich and the rest of the sport, here's Rob Bonnet.
Sophie, thanks. Good evening. Yes, 2 gold medals today for Britain at the Europeans. First, Ashia Hansen in the women's triple jump, secured only with her final effort. And then Colin Jackson in the 110 metres hurdles, his 4th championship gold in succession.
This was Great Britain's best night yet. They waited all day for the possibility of at least 1 gold medal. Then 2 came along together. Ashia Hansen and Colin Jackson pulled Team GB up the medal table in 5 magical minutes. Though it took Jackson considerably less time to win his 4th consecutive European title. 13.11 seconds over the 110-metre hurdles is his fastest race so far this year.
Because it's my last real outdoor championships, and to finish on such a high is just a tremendous feeling for me. I'm really pleased with this.
Hansen was also favourite in the triple jump, but left it late. After 3 no jumps, she took gold with her final effort in a distance that proves that she's back to her best.
I knew that 15 metres is always there. It's just, you know, a matter of time, you know, a matter of, you know, good weather, good track, you know, and I knew it would come out.
Great Britain now have 12 medals at these championships, 5 of them gold, and there could soon be another one with the men's 100 metres relay team back on the track tomorrow, the final day of competition. Ollie Foster, BBC News, Munich.
Michael Vaughan was England's star in the second Empire Test against India at Trent Bridge today. He batted almost all day for his 3rd Test century of the summer, a performance that consolidated his international future, but fell 3 runs short of a double century just before bad light stopped playing and closed on 341 for 5, 16 runs behind India, who were dismissed this morning for 357. It was the first day of the nationwide Football League season today, and for one club, Wimbledon, it's been an especially turbulent summer with protests and boycotts continuing today outside Selhurst Park against their planned move later this season to Milton Keynes. Just 668 home fans turned up amongst a crowd of just under 2,500. Wimbledon lost 1-0 to Gillingham. Defending champions Celtic are top of the Scottish Premier League this evening after a 4-0 win at Aberdeen. Captain Paul Lambert completed the scoring midway through the second half. Elsewhere, Rangers beat Dundee 3-0. The Rugby Union Tri-Nations game between South Africa and New Zealand in Durban was interrupted today when a fan assaulted the referee. The man crashed into Irish official David McHugh. Some of the players then intervened. McHugh's shoulder was injured and he had to leave the field. New Zealand eventually won 30-23. And that's the sport. Sophie.
Rob, thank you very much. The main news tonight. Police have reconstructed the last known steps of missing 10-year-olds Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman. They hope the pictures of the girls in identical clothing will jog memories and provide new leads. That's the latest. There will be news throughout the night over on BBC News 24. But from us, good night.
Good evening. There has been more heavy rain today. That flooding, of course, in North Yorkshire. Some torrential downpours across the southeast too. More than 2 inches of rain falling in 24 hours in Southend and nearly an inch in just 2 hours in Shoreham. Now, those showers across central and eastern England are now quickly going to die away through the rest of this evening. We've already got a lot of cloud towards the west. Outbreaks of rain showing up here on our radar picture. Now, that wet weather will move across Northern Ireland tonight and then move across parts of western Scotland, West Wales and western England with a little bit of patchy fog forming elsewhere. And it'll be quite a cool night in Newcastle. Temperatures down as low as 9 degrees here, around 13 or 14 for Birmingham and Cardiff. So we start tomorrow dry and reasonably bright in central and eastern England. Some sunshine coming through here, but towards the west there'll be more cloud and outbreaks of rain. And that rain is going to slip eastwards as the day goes on. Now, there could be the odd heavier burst across Scotland, but the rain is going to be very light and patchy for England and Wales. And that means that some places will escape the rain altogether. In fact, reasonably bright for much of the day across some eastern areas. At the same time, it'll slowly brighten up across Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland. But here it's going to turn quite windy, and it is going to be a fairly cool day for the time of year, a top temperature of 18 to 22 degrees. But it looks like it's going to warm up as we head through the first part of next week. By the middle of the week, we should see temperatures in the south getting into the middle 20s. So much drier weather for England and Wales over the next few days. For Northern Ireland and Scotland, though, there'll be rain at times.
Running out of allies.
You think we're dealing with a second dirty agent?
Yeah.
Talking about the life of a young innocent girl here.
Running out of options.
Are you sure this is going to work? It has to.
Running out of time.
Why are you doing this to us?
The final 2 hours, 24 tomorrow at 10 on BBC Two.
Here are tonight's National Lottery results. In the Lotto draw, the 6 winning numbers are confirmed as 13, 16, 23, 28, 31 and 32. And the bonus number is 18. Early indications show there are 2 lucky jackpot winners, each winning just over £4.9 million. The winning numbers in the Lotto Extra draw are 3, 14, 19, 24, 29 and 31. Early indications show there are no winners tonight, which means the Lotto Extra jackpot for the next draw has grown to an estimated £3.7 million. The National Lottery Thunderball numbers are confirmed as 12, 16, 20, 28 and 30. And the Thunderball is number 11.